Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this podcast with your lovely host, Arantza, Vale, and me, Ara. Please enjoy. Cinema. What a delight of a medium. I mean, the effects, the narrative, the tension. Just to connect with characters that will last approximately 1 or 2 hours. If we don't mention a sequel or a trilogy, of course. But how did all of this come to what it is today?
We start back in 1995, when the Lumiere brothers reproduced the first film ever, Departure from the Lumiere Factory, a short film that showed workers getting out of a factory. Of course, there wasn't any sound, but that fired up the world of possibilities of cinema.
Hey, I think you're forgetting about someone. Sure, Lumiere were the ones that gave the first step, but it was Georges Méliès, usually called the Wizard of Cinema, that invested on it and started developing the use of makeup, scenography, and a more elaborated narrative, with, for example, his film Le Voyage dans le Lune in 1904.
Black and white movies? No sound? How did people even survive?
Tough times, right? But don't worry, salvation came for sound with the movie Don Juan in 1926, where the sound was synchronized with the movie. As for the color of the one, it was around the 30s, with the maximum representation being The Wizard of Oz in 1939.
But if it's from TV, who developed the technology for it was no other than a Mexican, Guillermo González Camarena, in 1963. TV transmissions were never the same after that. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We also got to consider that cinema was not only made for the sake of art, but to distribute propaganda too. During World War II, these practices were common as countries wanted to high up nationalism and prove that the war had a purpose of showing good versus evil. Disney was involved in these practices too. With example, we have the short film of Donald the Duck being a Nazi. The film's name was Der Führer's Face in 1943.
As cinema distribution is highly correlated to historical context, during this period, Mexico had what is called the golden era of Mexican cinema, where Mexico's cinema was internationally recognized, have idols such as Pedro Infante and Maria Felix.
Such an amazing era. Even though we didn't have any blockbusters.
Blockbusters?
Movies are highly profitable with massive productions and massive success. But did you know the original term meant a bomb that was able to raise entire blocks? World War II was certainly something. Then Hollywood adopted the term around the 50s, but it wouldn't be settled until the film Jaws in the 70s.
Well, Blockbuster is also a company, you know? They distributed movies all the way back in 1985. People went to the stores and rented a movie so they could watch it at home. They were such an icon during the 90s. Unfortunately, they did not adapt to the new era. They did not see a future in all these new technologies.
Also, extra note, during the 70s until the 90s, movies were distributed to VHS and CDs. Well, let's continue with the podcast. How dumb! And man, they even rejected Netflix. Can you believe that?
Oh my god, really? Considering streaming platforms now rule the market, all of this because of the pandemic. Also, let's not forget piracy. I mean, it's always been there. The industry fights it with all the strength, but it always comes back. That's just a fact. Now, let me resume this real quick. This form of distribution of movies, streaming platforms, and piracy became really popular due to the fact that people were not even able to leave their houses. Oy, I get the creeps every time I remember.
Yeah, don't say. But here we are, in a new era. Although many people consider it a downfall of cinema, really. We're being filled with reboot after reboot, live actions, AI. People are craving for originality and new stories. But by this point, what to expect, am I right?
Cinema is what it is, a medium of to narrate beautiful stories, send a message, or simply to show life itself. Anyway, we really hope you have enjoyed the story of the cinema distribution around the world. Unfortunately, this is all for now. See you next time!